advantage tomorrow.
Definitely, we'll try our best, and as Derek said, this will be our first encounter, and we look forward to a very exciting game tomorrow.
Absolutely. So explain the context of this match as well in the overall polo season, Dirk. What does this match mean other than the fact that it's a meeting of two continental powerhouses?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a tough game for us, everyone. In context, it's quite an important game for us. I mean, we've got 2 internationals annually that we play in South Africa, where we host 2 foreign countries that come out, obviously. We had a previous one where we played against Australia, and now we're playing against Nigeria. So, yeah.
And expecting a lot from them,
We're expecting a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So, Mohammed, all set to go for the encounter. Where do the horses come from? Do you explain some of that, the behind-the-scenes stuff?
Well, some of the horses actually came from a friend of ours, Selby Williamson. He's been coming to Nigeria quite a bit, so when he heard the Nigerian team would be around, he decided to provide us with about 22 horses, which we tried yesterday, and we also tried some again today. So we're quite optimistic that the game will go well.
Right. So, Dirk, this is obviously a sport that's alive and well on the continent. Tell us a little bit more about the polo scene in South Africa. Is it all Rolls Royces and sipping champagne? Or
I mean, polo is not quite what people think it is, all about the glitz and the glamour of it. The behind the scenes is very hard work. I mean, as you know, we have to look after our horses. Without our horses, we are nothing at the end of the day. You could compare us to like a Formula 1 car driver. Without their engine or their crew kit in the car, they are nothing at the end of the day. But South African polo is a very social sport. Everyone is welcome in South Africa. Because it's a small sport and a small community, we really try and get more external influences in of other people and try to bring other people in.
Absolutely.
To come and watch, yeah.
So, Mohammed, right, so it was an important point to make about the horses, but your team as well. Explain to us this, what is it called? It's the seeding ranking, or is it the, how do you constitute the teams?
What they do with the Nigerian Polo Federation is actually, we have about maybe 15 clubs in Nigeria, and they rank the players according to their individual handicaps.
Handicap, that's
yes.
right.
And from there, they will be able to see which players actually are available and which ones actually have a synergy. In my team, we've been playing together for the past maybe 15 years with the same members. So they've been able to incorporate 2 other players into the Nigerian team now, but we've always been together, play together, we play against each other. So there's quite a good synergy with the Nigerian team.
Right, so your handicap is the cumulative amount of handicaps within the side.
Yes.
And how does it compare to South Africa? Is this like versus
Yeah,
like?
it's an open, so it's a 13 goal on Nigerian side, and the South African side has a 13 goal handicap.
So no one's seeding any goals at the beginning of the match. That's an interesting point to make. Dirk, explain why that system comes about. What is the thinking behind it?
The reason we do it like that is so that you could have a fair game between 2 teams. That's why everyone has their own handicap and they have to accumulate up to a certain figure. If not, you would get powerhouses like countries like Argentina, where you would have to play against smaller countries where they would completely dominate. So to make it fair in that sense, you have to give everyone a handicap, and then that way you can make it fair.
So what are the princes of England? What are their handicaps? What was Harry operating at and William?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what their handicaps are at the moment.
But obviously, if they show up, then that means the rest of the team has to work just a little bit harder.
Definitely.
I assume. I don't want to knock the princes.
Definitely.
Right, so Rosefield tomorrow in Centurion. You familiar with the surroundings? What can people expect? How long does the match last?
I've never played there. The match we hope to start the match about 2 p.m.
Yes.
So we'll be there by 12, getting our horses ready and getting the whole team all psyched up.
And the match lasts how long?
Typically it's over 6 periods, and each period is 7 minutes. So we hope within an hour we're done, because you have stoppages and changes of horses and so on.
Absolutely. And Dirk, from a South African point of view, you obviously used to hosting internationals. How does Rosefield stack up?
Rosefield, I think it's quite a good location. The location for itself is easily accessible to the public. The field itself is good. We can play, I think we can have a competitive game. I personally haven't played there for a very long time, so I think it's going to be it's going to be fair for both sides.
And obviously you want a good crowd, a healthy crowd, and lots for people to do while they were there. I think I was a bit facetious talking about the swigging of champagne and swanning about in Rolls Royces, but it is actually quite a nice vibe. I've seen it from the Ananda Polo Club. It's something that people want to get involved in.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the social side of it is very big, especially on days like this, on international days, Yeah. So there's a lot to do at the polo other than just to watch the polo.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you best of luck. Nigeria versus South Africa. May it be a rivalry that blossoms and, continues to pull the crowds.
Definitely.
We hope so.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for having us.
So much.
Yeah.
Now on to golf news. Lucas Herbert will hold a 2-shot lead going into the final round of the Portugal Masters in Vila Moura. The Australian carded a third round 64 and finished on 19 under par. A round of 61 shifted Englishman Tom Lewis into second on 17 under par. A birdie on the opening hole set the tone for Herbert. 4 more birdies at 5, 7, 8 and 9 closed out a solid front 9. His only blemish was a bogey at the par 3 16th, but that was cancelled out by a further 3 birdies on the homeward 9. Lewis played near perfect golf and signed for a 10 under par round of 61. Richard Sterney is the best placed South African. 9 shots off the place on 10 under par. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks very much for joining us. Remember, follow us on Twitter at SABC Sports Live or email us sportslive@sabc.co.za. From myself and all the team, good night and take care.
SABC is independent and impartial, and it's important that as we deliver the news, we do so without fear, without favour, without prejudice, and that we ensure that we get the multiplicity of views so that our stories and coverage is balanced.
We pride ourselves on being impartial as well as independent. On the agenda, we basically break down the stories of the day, give it more substance and give it more detail. So all in all, we basically take the news agenda of the day forward.
But more than that, we'll be able to reflect the stories of ordinary folk, people who are trying to make ends meet, facing the most incredibly difficult obstacles and circumstances, and that they will find that their realities are expressed on the SABC.
To be a part of something like this makes me proud, and I think that to be able to report the news in a fair, just, independent and impartial way is what the public broadcaster stands for.
More than 100 heads of state and government are expected in New York for the high-level segment of the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly. The largest gathering of presidents and prime ministers anywhere on the planet. Some familiar faces won't be returning for the first time in decades. Others will be making their debut at the prestigious gathering, while thousands of news media from around the world will be spoilt for choice.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
High-level meetings include the one-day Nelson Mandela Peace Summit on September 24th, including a donation of a life-sized Madiba statue to the UN. The general debate starts on September 25th, while side events include a focus on eradicating tuberculosis, controlling non-communicable diseases, non-proliferation, and financing for the 2030 Agenda.
The world is counting on all of us to rise to the challenge before it is too late.
The SABC Foreign Desk will bring you comprehensive coverage of UNGA 73. SABC News, impartial and independent.